said it's 2 minutes per pick, right?
Welcome everyone to. That was very, very.
That was so abrupt. We're a little out of. We're a little out of practice. We're a little out of practice, but it's all right. Take it away.
Let's try that one more time. Fading in and out.
Let it fade a little bit. Yeah.
There's the fade. There's the fade. Now we're on track. So welcome everyone to another fantasy football show. Taylor can't stop talking through the intro, through everything.
Sorry.
We're back, baby.
We're back. We're in mid-season form, even though it's preseason. Justin, this might be mock draft number 1, number 2. What are we talking?
Are you talking about for me? Like
for you, this fantasy season heading into it, what mock draft number is this?
I'm actually kind of ashamed. I mean, I gotta be pushing like 40, 50 right now. Like, and I'm talking like casually. Like, I'll be on Sleeper and I won't invite anybody else. It'll just be me and the bots. But I just if I have 5-10 minutes, I'll throw it on and just be like, here's my pick. I'll go from here, see what I can create. But I've been cramming for the last couple of weeks because I have been a little out of practice. Yeah. This offseason has been a little different for me. But I have been getting back into the groove, and these mock drafts have been helping me at least see where you're not going to get a full league of competent drafters. And I feel like a bot is almost too competent. A lot of times you'll see people be on auto draft and accidentally stumble into the playoffs when they normally wouldn't. I hate that. That makes me sick.
Yeah, it happens.
You need that human element, and I at least with this
human error. Yep.
Yeah.
Human error.
When you're doing it with a bunch of bots, which could be the future, is how I think you can at least get a baseline of like worst case scenario. If everybody else around me drafts perfectly, this mock draft will be the worst case scenario. But you're gonna get a lot of gifts. I think that's what's gonna happen. People will steal stuff, but you'll get gifts more so. So yeah, that's what I've been experiencing.
Oh, it's so
it's
funny.
Like Blade Runner. You want one of these bots to like take a little human test to see right before you draft.
AI's got Justin figured out. They know all his draft strategies.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen. Somebody, I feel like there's always somebody back there that's like selling those mock draft data. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the sites that you're doing mock drafts on, they could be selling those data and be like, here's what the actual picks are doing. Like, let's see.
The ADP is used a lot of places, probably. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into our mock draft. We have it all set up, ready to go. Taylor's drafting out of number 3 spot. Justin's at 6. I'm at 9. It's a 12-team PPR, 2 flexes, nothing else crazy. 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers. I just want to touch on quick injury update. I'm sure we'll get to more as the draft commences, and we'll talk about key players that we're seeing for stock dropping, Breece Hall, those types for the ACL, and then the ones that are kind of on the rise because of injuries. But big news is Terry McLaurin, that turf toe in the preseason playoff game. Felt like a playoff game with Commanders-Ravens. Ron Rivera wanted to end the streak so bad he sacrificed Terry McLaurin. You know, it happens. But turf toe, they're saying shot first start of the season. Our panel of Pro Football Docs are not as confident. Turf toe is big for getting off the line and acceleration, all that key stuff that a wide receiver needs to do. So we'll see if he plays week 1. If so, probably going to be limited, as well as Seahawks wide receiver rookie Jackson Smith-Njigba. JSN, we'll just call him for time's sake. But okay. left wrist scaphoid fracture. That's not the better fracture because it's a slower area of healing because of low blood flow. Again, we don't directly know all this. We talked to a doctor who knows all this. 17 years in the NFL, so he's seen all sorts of injuries and recovery timelines, 3 to 4 weeks, pretty optimistic with surgery on a wrist. So looking like potential IR to start the year for Jackson Smith-Njigba. Cooper Kupp back practicing. Joe Burrow seems on track for week 1. Treylon Burks with the PCL sprain, he's going to be an interesting one. He might be right up against week 1, but we'll get to the rest as we continue mock draft and head to the website. We got insights, we got articles, fantasy scores coming out each day, tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, pretty much anything you want.
Cool. Before we start this technical thing, you might want to.
Cool. You said cool.
No, I just want to. Before you hit start on this, no, that's great. I'm obviously very excited. What you need to do is I would turn off the sound on Sleeper. I don't know if everybody's done the mock draft on Sleeper, but if that sound's on, that baby's humming all the time.
I think I muted the screen audio.
Oh, then we're
Hopefully everyone
good.
else
Forget
has,
it.
but yeah.
Everybody just ignore what I just said. And
We don't need you.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
We don't
Just I
we
from
need the giant ping every
experience.
pick. So
Yeah, and
Ooh.
seriously, it really does make a noise after every pick, and it's fascinating. I don't know why it does that.
well,
but
It
here's the main
vibrates the
test. I'll click
soul,
start
yes.
draft and we'll see if if we get blared. So you guys ready?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, baby.
All right, moving quick.
Okay.
Kelsey
Oh,
Dexter off the board.
Wait a minute.
That was beautiful. Hey, look at them. They just like made it random as
What?
heck. Thank you for dude, honestly, first
Kelsey
off,
Kelsey at
let's
1-1. That's happened in every draft. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, let's talk about this. I shouldn't have this pick right now, but it's fine. Like, thank you for it.
Jay
That
Jett is
wasn't necessary.
Okay. Yeah.
Jay-
Okay. So
Jay Jett is over Chase, and how is Chase still there too? That's
yeah, this is absolutely amazing. If I was
Yeah.
if I'm sitting in this spot, I'm very excited to see Jamar Chase hanging around at 6. But
Right.
but I do think that there's a clear, I think, obviously wide receiver wise, I think Jefferson and Chase should be at the top. But I don't think anybody here is wrong. It's really just like a philosophy thing. DeKelsey at number 1 overall might be a bit.
That's a
steep for
fan.
me.
That's a
That's
Casey
premium.
fan.
That's
That's
good.
a Casey fan.
Yeah.
That's a premium. So I'm just going to take Chase here at
Yeah.
6. I'm going to keep it simple, but I do think
Right.
that those first 6 or even 7, including Cup here, that win at 7,
That was wonky.
those can be interchangeable to a degree, but this one feels a little much.
Yeah.
and we've talked at 6score.com about our concerns about Cup. It's not so much Cooper Kupp in the hamstring or the ankle from last year, but Matthew Stafford's neck. I mean, he seems like kind of an underground Tua. Everyone's talking about Tua. He's one hit away. He's considered retirement. Stafford's another one of those he had the spinal contusion last year, didn't have surgery to fix it, so at risk. I don't know where I'm going here. I want to go Diggs, but I think I have to go Saquon.
Ooh, yeah. See, I've been drafting mock drafting at 9 quite a bit, and that's been very interesting to see if it's Brian Robinson or if it's Saquon Barkley, and I've usually just been kind of bouncing back and forth between them, whichever one's still available.
Who do you like better, Barkley or Robinson this year?
Personally, I've been picking Barkley more just because I know, and Atlanta scares me, and I've been burned by Atlanta players quite a bit, but I do know that they run the ball a lot, and I mean, but I'm wishing that they wouldn't. So I'm kind of like projecting them to be passing more, definitely more than they did last season. It was like a historically low passing attack, and it was
Their offensive line is really good. It's like top 10 in the league. So he's definitely going to have that advantage right there. But like you said, I think an advantage of Ritter being terrible is good for him because that means they're just going to feed Robinson the rock, which is good for him as well, right? So we'll see. But like Ritter in London, that's something I'm worried about. That's one I don't know. But like I said,
gross.
Robinson right now with kind of offensive line and Barkley, back on that, looks like a pretty decent Giants team. Yeah, you can't go wrong with either one.
I think the only knock to Robinson is that Algier is still there, whereas Barkley doesn't have a number 2 that he's competing against.
What is Algier though? I know he did really good last year, but like
I just
he
see
was
Arthur
actually
Smith going
efficient.
2 backs. I don't know why you wouldn't go 2 backs if you have Algier there.
And I know there's a timer real quick, so still feel free to make your pick.
Sorry.
But yeah,
going to Amon-Ra St. Brown at the second pick out of the 9 spot. Just I love him this year. Not a hot take at all. Everyone loves him this year. So
yeah,
if you can get him,
I love him. I love him this year.
Yeah, I'm a big fan as well. I do find myself picking him a lot in the second round too, but
yeah, for sure.
I where I'm at here, 2-7. I mean, I'm okay with taking, I think, Garrett Wilson here and just being. I'm not touching Taylor. That situation is toxic.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. Yeah, don't touch that for now.
He's gonna drop. This ADP where he's at on Sleeper right now is gonna continue to drop, but there will be a point where it could be. You're winning by picking and taking the chance.
But yeah.
So it's a big swing. I don't know if you're taking that second round, maybe 3rd, 4th round is when you can take that swing. Maybe 5th if you're lucky, he drops. But yeah, right now it's just so much in
round.
there.
I'm not touching him for sure.
Yeah.
Like team 4, McCaffrey and Taylor. Like if Taylor goes somewhere, you're doing good there.
That's
like,
that's real good.
There.
Yeah, it's really stable.
Still scary though.
I like the Robinson Derrick Henry team.
I don't like Robinson really or Henry. That's a lot of carries. That's a lot of carries. If there's leagues that are like, you get points per carry, then good for you. I think Henry, his offensive line is so bad this year. And
who knows what that quarterback situation is? Will Levis starting week 4, week 5? I don't know.
Yeah, I will say on my pick, I went wide receiver with Chase and Wilson. I do like that a lot. if Chubb was there, it was a no-brainer. I was taking Chubb. He almost got to me, which is kind of cool in the second round.
I went Jalen Hurts, just third best quarterback available. I don't really like anybody below him as much as him, so might as well just take him.
He's still going to be the RB1 from touchdown perspective, right? Like, even though they have Penny and DeAndre Swift, is he still getting most of the red zone carries, you think?
No, I think so, yeah.
I also think of on that too, like, you got Hurts at QB3. I think statistically, like, I would pick him over any quarterback. If I was going to pick a quarterback early, even over Mahomes and Allen, I know it sounds weird to say on paper, but like, Hurts
it's
is
not
good.
crazy. It's not crazy.
No, I think Hurts at QB3 is pretty solid.
Mahomes has a weird wide receiver room this year, right? I mean, it's just Kelsey and the tight end, and then he's got a bunch of rookies, right? So that's one that's weird. There might be one year when you see him kind of fall statistically.
See, now this is a situation that I've not found myself in a lot because I have been drafting towards the end of the third round.
Justin hates drafting in the middle, everybody, so that's why we put him in the middle.
I'm going to keep mentioning it, but yeah, you put me in a weird spot. But this is one of my scenarios where I think if Kelsey is available at the sixth pick in the first round, I'm probably taking him. Right. If Andrews is available at my pick in the third, I think I'm taking him.
I think
and
so.
And then after that,
are you going to go 3 wide receivers? Like,
after that,
why not?
I won't touch tight end till the bottom of the barrel. That's kind of been my philosophy. So I'm going to take Andrews here, and I'm going to be happy about that. That I don't have to stress about tight end for the season, which is because that's a situation I'm going to put myself in if I don't get either of those two guys. And
most people do. Most people do. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
See, at this point in the third round, I mean, Breece Hall's coming up the board. We've talked about it on Twitter and on the Pro Football Doc podcast, just the Dalvin Cook situation, how we think Dalvin Cook's getting more usage early on. I mean, if you want to swing and say that the Jets are keeping Breece Hall healthy until January, until they can play him heavy come fantasy playoff time, it's an interesting strategy to take, but I don't know about third round that you're risking your draft on that.
Yeah, that price point for that strategy. You know what I mean? Like, if you're thinking, oh, Breece Hall is going to be the league winner at the end of the season, you might not be in contention at the end of the season if your third rounders stalling for the the first half of the season.
I'm gonna go Travis Etienne here.
Ooh,
it's a good pick.
Let's talk about that one though. Tell me more about how you're feeling about Etienne, because I don't know why I'm like more out on him than I feel like most people.
Is it because Tank Bigsby's behind him?
That's a factor.
How much of a factor though?
It's not a huge factor, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that Tank Bigsby's looked pretty good. All right,
Jacob, I like Etienne this year because it's the people around him. Maybe like once you have Stevenson, and I even like Harris this year. I think that Liz Frank kind of affected him last year. Once you're done with Harris, I don't like Gibbs. You don't know what he's going to do yet. He probably going to be.
I already had Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's why I didn't even look at him too.
Mixon, he's got crazy stuff going on, not football related, but even if he does play, I don't know. He's an interesting one too. Like you said, you got Breece Hall, you got Aaron Jones, who I actually do like, but Kenneth Walker, Damon Pierce-Sanders, those are all disgusting picks, like from the running backs, if you don't like them. So that's more of like, if you're going to go running back, you have to go Etienne for me. Because I also like Etienne this year too at that spot.
I'm going to go Justin Fields here.
Ooh,
Joe Burrow
I was
off the board,
at
Lamar Jackson off the board. I thought about going that 3, but why wouldn't you get Fields in round 4 when you get Burrow or Jackson round 3? I mean,
yeah, this is going to be an easy pick for me here. I think I have Chase, I have Wilson, I have no running backs, I have Andrews. I'm pretty excited about. I'm looking at the top 2 running backs. Aaron Jones, like you said, I feel like a lot of people are down on him, mainly because of age. But I just feel like he's going to be such a focal point of this offense with Jordan Love there. And as a Packers fan, like he's going to be, he can run routes, he can catch balls. It's just going to be such a good little like dump off. If and I think that's something Jordan Love is going to have to learn and do. He's looked really, really good in preseason, and I do think he's better than a lot of people are giving him credit for. But I do think that the fail safe for Jordan Love will become an Aaron Jones
dump off. Yep, exactly. That's my favorite. That's my favorite words this year. Yep. Yeah. Yes. Aaron Jones dump off.
You got to think LaFleur's in his ear telling him that after every practice too.
All right. I'm going to go a little bit off the board here because Kenneth Walker, not a fan of. I think Charbonnet, however you say it, takes a little bit of his carries.
Yeah.
Love Amari Cooper this year, but I actually, wide receiver wise, loving Jerry Jeudy this year. He could easily be the number 1 wide receiver there. I got that sound effect took over my whole voice, and nothing usually does that. So it's very.
I've been burned. Last year I went way too Bronco heavy. So I do have like an aversion to Broncos right now. And I feel like I need to shake that because I do think it's going to be totally different with Sean Payton there.
No, I think that's a good point too, because like I'm sure we'll have league mates who went way too Bronco too. So if they go way too Bronco, there might be a Bronco blind spot.
Yeah, that ride was that ride was bumpy. That Broncos ride was.
A lot of people rode it and have PTSD from it. So
I'm one of them for sure.
That was a bumpy ride.
This is an interesting spot here too, because there's some good quarterbacks still, but I don't know that. I'm of that same philosophy with tight end and quarterback this year, where I feel like if you're not getting like the top 2 or 3, I might just even 5. I guess for quarterback 5. Like I do think Hurts, Allen, Mahomes, Fields.
Isn't Herbert in that?
I don't know.
I'm kind of like, yeah.
There's definitely Herbert will be.
I'm not sure because you need to run.
He'll be better than he was last year.
To be in that.
That's what I'm saying.
They're going to pass more than anybody in the league, though, with Kellen Moore.
You're right,
that's the one thing. Like,
that being said, I'm not going quarterback. I think you guys obviously know that was coming. So I'm kind of in on this guy, mainly because the offense likes to run, and I'm curious to see what he gets with the load. So I'm going to take old Sanders here.
Oof,
because I do need, again, I need running backs. So I have Jones and I have Sanders. I'm okay with that. That's not the worst. For starting my first 3 picks without touching running back, I'm okay with Jones and Sanders being the 2.
That was an interesting 3 that just went, though. Sanders, Dobbins, and Madison. Ooh, like, if they're all in that range, who would you rather have of those, Taylor?
Dobbins, but my big running back in that whole range hasn't been picked yet. James Conner, just sitting here, is a huge value. No, they're not going to pass the ball at all there. And if Clayton Tune starts, then that might hurt a little bit because he runs more than he's like a man's.
Wow, that's a conversation. Yeah. Like if Clayton Tune starts,
you're saying the Cardinals aren't going to pass?
It's not as crazy as you think, because why would you start Colt McCoy? Don't you know what you have already? At least start Tune and see.
First off, how dare you put some respect on Colt McCoy's name? One of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation.
Greatest backup
over Colt McCoy. What are you doing?
Dude, he's been hanging. He's been hanging around the league. That's crazy.
He's one of the better backup quarterbacks we've seen in a while. Good job. But I'm like, if
you can get him in Superflex, it's not a bad like sleeper Superflex second quarterback.
I do agree with. Their passing attack is going to be horrendous, but they're going to have to pass though to be. What? I know they're not trying to be competitive because they're going to be dog water.
They're not trying.
But the second half of games, you're not going to run James Conner when you're down 20, right? I mean, like, how's that going to look? That's weird.
So I'm Brandon Ayuk. I'm a full disclosure Niner fan. I've actually never owned Ayuk in a fantasy league though, so I feel like now's the year to have him.
Yeah, I like that.
He's going to be the man. Yeah, Samuel's going to take a step back. Kittle's going to block his ass off the entire season just to make sure Purdy's arm's golden. So
why not? What does Kittle have already? Oblique, something like that?
Adductor. He's good at adductor.
We're going down the soft tissue path again with George Kittle.
Yeah,
it never ends.
And that's never good. Yeah, and when he does come back, he's going to ease himself into whatever it's not going to be good. So I would avoid him. There's many other tight ends not named Kyle Pitts that are out there. Sorry.
Oh man, Kyle Pitts, man, he did get picked. And what's weird is, like, again, I still think he's really good, but like, I just can't do it. I won't. I need to see like.
I feel like he's video game good. I feel like if you play Madden, Kyle Pitts is probably like you're getting 1,010.
All potential team, 100%.
Yeah. So.
It's so crazy to me that he's been in the league. It'll be 3 or 4 years next year, and then I think next year finally. They got to bring another quarterback in, unless Ritter somehow pops off. I'm not sure how that's going to look. But
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't hold my breath on that.
Yeah. Okay, so we were just talking about Herbert and Lawrence. They're still hanging around. At some point, I should just wise up and take a quarterback. 6th round, Trevor Lawrence. I'm okay with that. I think their offense is going to get better. They have Ridley. I'm happy with this. I think Trevor Lawrence in the 6th.
Team 5 taking James Conner for me. Team 5.
You're all about James Conner.
Did you check? Did you do the Blade Runner test on Team 5? Make sure they're an actual bot, because that's crazy. I'm going to take. This is an injury related pick. Jackson Najiba out. Tyler Lockett's back to being number 2, the man there.
Lockett's to me, he's locked in more so than even Metcalf. I know Metcalf's like elite level athlete, but I feel like Lockett's been eternal until I see Lockett fail. I'm going to just assume, to me, he's the one I want in there, especially at the price. The difference between the perceived value of Metcalf and what you're getting with Lockett, I think
I've always preferred Lockett in that perceived value argument,
Yeah.
100%. It's funny how they don't have anything behind JSN either. Like, it falls off a cliff. Eskridge is suspended 6 games. Dariki Young has a core muscle that might need surgery. And then it's Jake Bobo. So I think Taylor...
You just took Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, people were letting him slide just because his shoulders.
Week 3.
Yeah.
He might play preseason week 3, I mean. So he might get some action already.
I was going to say, he's weak. He's fallen just because he got a labrum surgery. But by the way, medically, I'm not speaking for any doctors. Like, it's a very reliable recovery. He's not gonna there's not gonna be no
same thing, right?
When he comes back. So yeah, there's not gonna be no dip in play when he comes back. So you're letting a running back from the Chiefs, who they have no wide receivers at all. He's gonna get a bunch of red zone carries. There's nobody behind him. McKinnon doesn't run. He catches, right? So there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Pacheco this year.
Yeah, I got to say, this is a very unfamiliar territory for me right now to be picking in the 7th.
Point.
I'm not saying just picking at 6, but to be in the 7th round of a draft.
And already have a quarterback.
And have a quarterback and a tight end. This is insane for me.
I know, you're drafting very sane, Justin. You don't have to do it just for the podcast.
No,
he's on camera. Crazy. He's on camera, exactly. Yeah.
No, but this is what I would have done if I was in this pick, and it goes to show, like, I've been picking towards the end of the rounds.
That's why you like the end of the draft.
It's a different world over there, man. It's a different world over there. But I'm gonna take Marquise Brown, even though you said the Cardinals aren't gonna pass. DeAndre Hopkins is gone. Somebody's got to catch the ball, and he's got a track record. I know Kyler Murray. I don't know. He's not there, but obviously a lot of what he got peppered with last year was with Kyler Murray. Is there any chance Kyler Murray shows up?
Early season?
Not early season, but like when are we looking for him
on the fantasy landscape? Week 12 at the earliest.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay.
But if they have like 2 wins. If they're 2-10,
why would you? If you're the Cardinals, I agree.
2-9, why would you play him? Yeah,
no, you're right.
There's a chance he doesn't play all season.
Yeah, draft his replacement and then trade him.
I don't like Marquise Brown at all, Justin.
Okay.
They just showed a video of him. They just showed a video of him today. Joint practice with the Vikings against Byron Murphy. It has no separation. And I was telling Jacob about that a couple days ago. You need separation in this league to like get anything. If you're not like getting by the cornerback just on pure talent alone, then you got to do other stuff. And I don't see him doing it this year, especially with Clayton Tune and then your boy. I think you picked that because you think Colt McCoy better than most people. So
no, I just feel like
Colt McCoy value is through the roof.
There are going to be passes thrown. It's like it's inevitable. There will be. I honestly feel like there'll be more passes thrown there than there will be in Atlanta. Still, I feel like that's not. It's not going to be too far off. So the ball's got to go somewhere, and Marquise Brown is the guy there. I don't know. I mean, Rondale Moore might be hanging around, but is he going to even be healthy to last more than a couple games? I don't know. But
I'm
to be
running
fair,
out of time here, so I'm going Pickens. This is always my debate: is third running back or third wide receiver.
Yeah,
and I know I went Freiermuth around before, but Pickens is just I can't talk myself out of him this year.
So this is interesting. A lot of people are in on Addison. For the Vikings, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm usually hesitant for rookie wide receivers, more so I would select them, but not like just around after they're going. You know what I mean? Like just to be like, if they're a value, I'll be like, all right, I'll take the shot. But
the opportunity's there, but like I think I'd rather have KJ Osborne in like the 15th round instead of, like he said, waiting to see if Addison hits or not, because there's a chance Addison doesn't hit, right? And he's just like a decent wide receiver that's getting like 404. Which you don't want that in any draft, right? But he's in a Minnesota Vikings offense, which is crazy, right? You're going to be right next to Jefferson, which is a lot of targets are going your way because he's going to be double team, triple teamed, hopefully, if you're smart as a DC. Yeah. And then it's the opportunity. Most people, like, you get an opportunity and you're like Rashee Rice. That's why people love Rashee Rice. You got Mahomes, right? So you have to at least look at him. But if Rashee Rice went to the Giants, you're not looking at Rashee Rice at all. You know what I mean? So it's the situational. That's why he's so valuable.
I think the opportunity's there.
You still need to wait and see. Yeah.
But who's had a crazier preseason than him coming into the league as a rookie? I mean, the car thing, speeding ticket, like a 140, and then he gets a concussion like a week, 2 weeks later, week and a half, 2 weeks later. So he's had kind of a rocky intro. I don't know if that has done anything to his value. Maybe he's in sleeper territory, but I feel like a lot of people are already talking about him as a potential wide receiver too.
Let me explain this pick real quick because this is gross. So top of the board right now, Kadarius Toney, Treylon Burks. I don't want to touch them. I don't want either of them. I'm just not into them at all. Brandon Cooks, I am a little intrigued on, but I find myself in this scenario. I'm going to take Gabe Davis, and I feel like people are a little too low on old Gaby boy here.
That's just a boring pick.
I mean,
I don't know.
Okay, it was either that or Brandon Cooks. What's more boring?
What do you want me to be high on exactly on Gabe Davis? He has been in this offense for like 3 years, and he still gets 706 every year, and like 8 of those touchdowns are in 1 year. Yes, I said he had 6 touchdowns, and 8 of them are in one game. Okay, that's the math.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Gabe Davis is just he has, like you said, he has games where he like is the wide receiver, like maybe 15 to 25 that week. And there's games where he's like 38 to 90, you know.
I mean,
and it's very...
to Justin's credit, they didn't bring in anybody who's threatening that 706. So, like, what in that wide receiver situation is different?
Kincaid might have a chance to take some of that, but I do think there's a little bit of a gap. I'm not going to say I don't want to say every year like this is Gabe Davis's year, but I do think there's so much opportunity in that offense that I feel like I'd rather have that.
It's not his year.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good argument. I can't debate. Oh, you took Treylon Burks. I like
Treylon Burks. I mean, I'll wait a couple games for him to be 100%. I mean, the LCL we don't think is a huge deal at sixscore.com, I believe, Jacob. So
right.
I'll wait with that. I mean, Hopkins actually helps him because I mean, double team that 38-year-old wide receiver and let Burks get open on the wing. So I mean,
38's a bit.
You might have added
steep.
8 years to him.
But to Hopkins, look at how old Hopkins is. How many years did I add to him?
Make your pick. I'm looking it up.
I think he's 31. Off the top of my
31.
head, I feel like I feel like he's 31.
Turned 31 this offseason.
Odell Beckham. All right.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy value at wide receiver. Taylor just got back-to-back Burks and Odell.
That's true.
8 and 9, 8th round and 9th round in the draft. That's
Burks has been going 7, but this LCL they're like, ooh, you know, like, and then Beckham. This is a wide receiver 1, right? Like if you're thinking about an offense, who's getting the ball? I know Andrews is there. Andrews is top target 1, but who's the number 1 wide receiver on the Baltimore Ravens right now? And everybody's saying at least Beckham hasn't looked bad in camp. I know you can't believe some of those things like, oh my God, he looks amazing. He's put on huge pounds, you know, but like a couple reports are like BS, but I think he's actually looked okay. So
yeah, I see Zay Flowers on the board and he was in consideration for my last pick.
But that's a rookie thing. That's what you talked about with Addison.
Right,
I totally liked Addison too, and I totally like Zay Flowers. Those are both situations that they might be the wide receiver 2 or 3 in that team.
Right. That's what. But this is where I'm kind of trying to figure out. Like they were obviously drafted. They had decent draft capital. So like now we're approaching double-digit rounds. This is kind of to me where you just take the shot on the young guy who could pop and be elite. And I'm not saying don't take Odell, but I'm saying like I'm not going to go Flowers because I picked too many wide receivers at this point, and I want a running back, and there's one here that I like. I'm going to take Khalil Herbert. Okay. I you know me and my Bears running backs, I love them.
Yeah.
But
I don't mind this though.
I do think he's electric.
You got to choose one, right? Yeah, you got to choose one. Yeah. Now there's situations around the league where there's like 5 people vying for 3 or 2 spots, right? And then fantasy, you kind of have to choose one, right? Like I don't know. There's many situations. I think a Herbert situation, you got Rashawn Johnson, the rookie. You got who's the second guy I'm thinking of Dante Foreman.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people. And then you got Fields running, right? So there's a lot of attempts that are not Herbert, right? Yeah. But I think like in that situation, I think you might be picking the right horse. So that's good.
I'm a Cortland Sutton.
I like
big gap between where Jeudy went and he went, and I think they can have similar numbers at the end of the year.
As somebody who paid for Sutton last year, we were paying like third round capital, 4th round capital for him last year. I'll take him approaching 9-10 round. Like I'll be okay with that. And if he does what he did last year at this pick, you're like okay. Well, obviously not exactly what he did last year. That was a pretty gross trajectory.
That was a good pick. That's who I thought you should pick. Jacob,
I was just say that's our 6 score special right there. The Samaje Perine pick. Me and Taylor have been doing some underdog best ball drafts, and I think I have like 100% exposure across like 6 drafts. Like I can't.
There's no reason not to. Yeah.
Javonte Williams, multiple ligament. We've talked about it at the website. Sean Payton loves to use 2 backs. He gives 2 backs 150 carries every single season. So I don't see how Perine, and they paid him real money. They didn't just throw him whatever. I mean, they seem like they targeted him and got him for whatever his number was.
The big thing too is Peyton is new there, right? The coaching staff, OC, everything. They brought, I don't know if you said this, they brought Perine in.
Right.
Like this isn't someone like a holdover, like, oh, we have Perine, like shoot. Like this is like we gotta deal with him. He's someone on the roster. Like, no, like Perine is someone they brought in to do the work. I like Peyton using him kind of like a Kamara type. So much value in the receiving game. He's a decent runner. He looked like that in Bengals. Like they used multiple times where Mixon was out or a breather, and Perine did well and made sure the sticks were moved, right? So
Jamal Williams went right before my pick, my Cortland Sutton pick. Jamal Williams is a really interesting one this year. I mean, Kamara's only the 3-game suspension, but who knows how quickly they turn to Jamal Williams in the red zone.
I like the Mitchell pick, Justin.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt. It's just because that's a team that they always use 2 running backs.
Right.
They have one of the best ones in the league right now, and they still didn't change.
Yeah, when
do.
Mitchell was healthy, there was a decent little. He was still getting some decent work, but again, he wasn't exactly healthy a lot last year. So I'm hoping to see that. Just
I got to take a defense and a kicker. Are we kidding me right now?
I mean,
I got to put that into my draft strategy.
Yeah,
man. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Mitchell. This is a weird spot in the draft right where I'm kind of just taking shots on. Not necessarily like handcuffs that have value on their own. You know what I mean? That's. Oh, I thought for some reason I just thought you took Jameson Williams. I was like, that's bold. All right.
No.
What's the sentiment for Jameson Williams over at 6 right now?
You already had like the injury coming off of it. It was kind of good because it was like maybe the second year off. Now you got the suspension. I don't think he's properly learned that offense.
He's battling a lot. Like
there's a lot of different advantages, like in little like obstacles and speed bumps that like he's talented. But then I heard a thing in camp that he was like dropping a lot of balls. Like, don't add another thing to the list.
And you know what I mean? Like so he's missed
exactly,
preseason time. So it's like a lot of situations colliding.
Trusty Jacoby, huh?
Jacoby Myers here. New location, but I do think he's good. I don't know who else is there besides Devontae Adams. I feel like there might be a Raiders fan here that might be Renfro. Yeah, he's still hanging around, but man, he is. No one's speaking about him. I honestly didn't even know he was still playing football.
He's never really spoken for. He had a bad year last year. That's why. And so I remember seeing a report that he was like on the cut bubble. But who are you going to cut him for? Like you said, after those 3, there's not much else behind them.
When Ezekiel Elliott, I think he has a little bit left in the tank, especially how the Pats are going to use him.
Yeah, I mean,
touchdown vulture. I mean, he could still flex spot.
Yeah, Damian Harris was there with Ramondre, and everybody knew that Ramondre Stevenson was the better running back, but Damian Harris kept getting carries. So, like you said, it's that scenario where they're still going to use 2 running backs. Ezekiel Elliott isn't horrible. Like, he's definitely not as good as he once was, but I'll take a back end Ezekiel Elliott, and who knows? We'll see what happens with that. Okay, I see the mouse the cursor's flying around the screen right now. What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is I was playing.
I was looking if anybody's taking a second quarterback. I don't think we're doing that.
I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Yeah,
I don't need to, right? Do
I? Yeah, that's tough. So this is one I was good. I almost picked him last round, but I picked Jacoby Myers instead because I'm playing the ADP game on Sleeper. But I'm going to reach for him here. I think Romeo Doubs is spicy.
Anyone who's listened to the podcast last year knows we're huge on Romeo Doubs. And then you switched to Christian Watson midseason.
We were huge on him last year, maybe. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously Christian Watson. I don't think Christian Watson – I think he wound up going in this one in like round 5, at the end of round 5. I don't think that's typical outcome for Watson in most drafts. I think people are reaching on him a little bit higher than I would have. I'm cool with getting him at the back end of 5. That'd be amazing. But I think the value is being pushed so high up for Christian Watson that I'll just take Romeo Doubs at this late in the draft and get not similar production. You're not going to get the explosiveness of Watson, but he's going to get peppered. He's going to get a lot of targets. So I'm cool with that.
Watson's going to have to do what he did last year, which is catch like a touchdown for 9 straight weeks.
I mean, I hope he does. I hope he does. Yeah, I'm excited.
But that's where he's being drafted. Is you're expecting 9 straight weeks of touchdowns?
It's entirely possible. All right, let me
I'm not hating on Jordan Love. Don't worry.
Love looks pretty okay.
I lost connection to my mic, guys. By the way, so.
Oh, I mean, I can hear you right now.
We can still hear you.
Yeah, no, I switched it before telling you, but
that's
what's
nice.
Well, just draft your defense and then
I will.
Devin Singletary. Okay.
I think Damon Pierce is good, but I mean, like I said, like we talked about, I think 4 times on this podcast, everybody uses 2 running backs, right? And he's not a bad one. Like he's going to take something. I don't think Pierce is.
I feel like he didn't get enough opportunity with the Bills. I don't know. I liked his game.
Yeah, I didn't think they liked him. And then once James Cook was there, he was a forgotten man.
Right.
So yeah, no, I don't think there's at this stage in the draft. I mean, just getting some depth. He's not horrible.
So right before me, Tyler Higbee just went. Not that I was saying I was going to pick Tyler Higbee. I'm fortunate enough to have a tight end. This is my ripcord at the end of drafts. If I just completely punt tight end, I'll just scoop a Tyler Higbee at the end and feel okay about it. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm going to feel gross about it anyway, I'm going to take all the shots in the world at potential stars or potential, like, you know what I mean? Like lottery tickets.
You don't like Dolchich here? You don't like Laporta? I know Taylor loves Laporta.
Yeah, I feel like Dolchich is being drafted typically higher than Higbee. No one's talking about Higbee. In a draft with real human beings, no one wants Higbee. So
Higbee's boring.
Yeah, Higbee's boring. He'll be there. He'll be all reliable at the end of the draft. So if you're going 0 tight end strategy, just throw a Higbee on your lineup and you'll be at the very least okay. You'll get your 2 to 3 points a week and you'll like it.
That's so gross. I've done that for so many years. And it's
I
so
hate
gross.
it. I hate it.
It doesn't work normally. You know that.
Every year I tell myself draft tight end higher, and I never do. So
I'm taking Mostert here, and again, this is like we were just talking before we started. Jonathan Taylor, we don't know where he's going to go. If he goes to Miami, don't touch Mostert, obviously.
Right.
Maybe don't even touch Mostert anyway. But at this late in the draft, he's going to get touches in this offense. Etienne, I don't know if he's as elite as he got hyped. And
wait, hold up. That's not how you say his name.
Yeah, is it A-Chain or Achani? I hear everyone saying A-Chain, and I'm pretty sure it's Achani.
I'm going to say A-Chain because it sounds like A-Train.
He's not A-Train,
he's a running back, bro.
He's not A-Train. He's not A-Train.
All right, he's definitely not a train. He's a bicycle. But no, what I'm saying is like that running back room is going to be a crapshoot. I'll take a shot on Mostert and see what happens if they don't bring in Taylor.
I'll go kicker.
Oh, you're actually drafting kickers.
I'm actually drafting legit.
Hey, that's you, man.
Draft legit, Justin. I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, I guess we're trying to finish an actual lineup. All right, then. Okay, yeah, I'll just.
We got to talk to kicker sleepers. Everyone wants the kicker sleepers.
I'm gonna take McManus. It's a good stack with my Trevor Lawrence quarterback. You want to stack your quarterback and kicker?
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's huge.
That's the secret stack that nobody wants.
Secret. Nobody knows about this, right? But if your quarterback's not throwing a touchdown, your kicker's gonna get some points. All right.
Yeah.
You guys see how late I got Darnell Mooney? 13th round.
Yeah, that's insane.
To stack with Justin Fields.
So
that's not bad. That's not terrible.
Look at Mooney and Bateman right next to each other in round 13. Those dudes were being so hyped the last couple years. It's like now look at what's happening. And what's crazy is they could just as easily pop off if the ball comes their way. Like they're not untalented football players. They're just their situation has worsened, and people I guess are recognizing that.
I think Bateman we're a little wary of just with the Liz Frank coming off that. But if he shows early season that he can get some catches and do some things with the ball, he'll have opportunities for sure.
I think Mooney, there's just too much stuff there now. Moore's there. I think Mooney was only getting a lot because he was the only one there. I think now that he's as number 2, I think he just gets like number 2 numbers. You might see like Tyler Boyd numbers, like 650, 700, and like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Horrible, especially how late you got him. But this is Justin Fields, who I know how flashy he is, and know how Justin loved picking him so high. Or I think you did, Jacob, right?
I did, yeah.
I'm not trying to make fun of you. Just the fact that he hasn't really fully figured out how to throw the ball downfield yet, which is key. Like Moore, when he's looked good during the preseason, it's screen passes and dump. So we have to see more Justin Fields. Like I like Justin Fields with Cole Kmet. He can throw the ball 10 yards down the field, right? But Mooney's a field stretcher. Like he can get the ball down he's fast. So we'll see on Mooney. Yeah.
So real quick, I want to shine some light on the D. I feel like it's no one's looking at the D. So at the end of the rounds, this is my go-to because again, no one's really talking about the Washington Commanders. All I do when I'm drafting a defense towards the end is I look at who they're playing week 1, maybe week 2 or week 3. Commanders are playing the Cardinals week 1.
Oh,
they're going to be so bad. Just I'm going to be streaming defenses. If that's your philosophy, if you're not getting like a top tier defense earlier, I'm just taking the Commanders, and I'm gonna seek out the Cardinals.
Give me the one or two teams you're getting the defense when they're facing them every week. I think Carolina's up there for me.
Carolina's
that makes sense. Like who do you want to start the defense against?
Yeah,
Carolina. I don't know. Those games aren't going to be fun to watch. Trust me, I've watched too many of them.
Oh, I know.
But it's a little more exciting now that you have Bryce Young there. There's a little more, and they did kind of load up on weapons. Granted, it's the back end of their career weapons. I don't think they're like amazing, but like Adam Thielen's going to catch some balls. I think they're going to be
a good sleeper.
They're going to be a team that's going to hang around with most people.
DJ Shark just picked up a hamstring today. But no, they're definitely people that are going to pick those kind of injuries up. So it's kind of worrisome that, like, you're back in your – they have no tight end whatsoever. Those are the two wide receivers. They have a bunch of young, like, slot receivers, Terrence Marshall and stuff. But offensive line is what I don't like, is why that's a good streaming option, though. Their offensive line, I know they've upgraded. They got the kid from NC State last year. But, I mean, they didn't look good at all. Bryce Young looks like he's getting hit every play. So, I don't even if Bryce Young's good, he's not going to be able to at all.
So, seek out the Cardinals. And then one more thing real quick. My other thing, if for whatever reason someone's on to my strategy about the Commanders, the Jaguars open their season up with a pretty decent lineup. And honestly, if their defense, I know it's probably not amazing, but if it gets even slightly better, they're in a division that's just horrible. And they're playing these teams twice a year. So there's some playability
Tennessee
there.
Twice, the Colts twice. That's good.
Texas, Colts, those are the two teams. I would that's my thing. Target rookie quarterbacks in their first 5 games because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're gonna eventually. That's why they're there. But like, there's not like
it's not that easy.
Justin Herbert's are dime a dozen when they come in, after their guy punctured his lung and he goes out and throws 900 yards.
All right, man.
Like,
Too soon.
I'm just
Tyrod Taylor's still hanging around.
His rookie contract's almost up. What do you mean too soon? But no, there's situations like that, like rookie quarterback, like Anthony Richardson. You threw 56% in college in their last year at Florida. You're going to translate well. Like that's going to go. It's not going to be 56 because didn't have talent like you do over in Michael Pittman and so forth. But how is that something that defense isn't going to love seeing? Like a mobile quarterback that's going to dance around. You're going to get him back. He's going to take sacks. He's going to do all. He's not going to be able to throw the ball. Like those are like you said, those are matchups you want to feast on in the first couple of weeks. These rookie quarterbacks.
See, now I'm getting really hyped about the Jaguars now. Like I don't know what it is. I've always kind of liked the Jaguars, but if you look at like you said, their division's going to be pretty gross. But I do think that their offense is going to be so explosive. I think they're going to score a lot of points. That their defense is going to be not a great defense, but I think they're going to be one of those high scoring defense because they're going to be taking a lot of chances and a lot of risks. So a lot of risks. So I do think that can also translate to a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers, and maybe some touchdowns, some pick sixes or something like that. So again, we're talking a lot about the D here, but that's just our 2 cents, I think.
It's the time of year we get excited about fantasy defenses. So
yes, yeah.
Football's close.
Yeah.
Football's here.
God, it's
all
crazy,
right, guys, thanks for sticking with us through the mock draft. We'll be back next week with some rankings, possibly. Taylor, pressure.
I will definitely have the rankings. You just need to tell me a deadline. I'm in the middle of them, so don't worry.
All right, there we go. We'll have some rankings to discuss. Maybe we'll clip out our draft and tweet it out to see who won from the 3 spot, the 6 spot, or 9 spot. I don't know.
I'm never going to agree with.
No one's ever going to agree. So we'll have our own internal debates. We'll send it to our home leagues and see who the consensus is on. So, all right, thanks, guys. We'll be back.